I see my name in shining lights. Yeah, a different city every night. Oh, I swear the world better prepare for when I'm a billionaire.
It's time to get down to business on the weekend's #1 business program. Known as the King of Networking, your host, Shalom Klein, has worked with thousands of entrepreneurs and created countless jobs. So, to success. Let's get down to business.
And indeed, we're all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship and business. We talk a lot about business here. You're on with Get Down to Business, and I'm your host, Shalom Klein. Remember, you can always download podcasts from Get Down to Business on my website at shalomklein.com. And while you're there, don't forget to follow me on Twitter at Shalom Klein. It's going to be a jam-packed week of content and information you'll not want to miss. I'm absolutely thrilled to kick off the program today with a conversation with entrepreneur, and there are so many more titles which we'll pack in. Shelby Scarbrough. Shelby, welcome to the program.
Thanks so much for having me, Shalom.
Absolutely. I'm honestly, I usually start the show with an incredible amount of energy, but I have to say that after looking at your bio, I'm already tired. That's not a good thing as we air the show on Sunday evenings. So, but I know I'm going to be inspired through the about 12 different hats that you have and continue to wear. So Shelby, let's start with just getting to know you a little bit. Shelby, I know you're fond of a certain mantra about coloring outside the lines, dreaming big, and not worrying too much about what people think. And it seems like that's how you live your life. Shelby, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, thanks so much. I think I'm a little tired these days sometimes too, because I try to pack in a lot of things into my life and every single day. And sometimes there just doesn't seem to be enough hours. But I started out my career many, many moons ago in politics as a political appointee. I worked at the White House and traveled around the world with the President of the United States and went to the State Department handling the guests of the President of the United States in the international realm. And that really ignited a love of, I was in the protocol office. It ignited a love of international relations and international relationships and building that community of peace, love, and understanding, basically, not to sound too corny, but that ultimately was my personal motivation. And then I went into my own business in 1990, a long time ago. And it's been a great roller coaster ever since of basically serial entrepreneurship and interest. I just follow, my heart is my passions is where they take me.
Absolutely. It certainly seems that you have, and that is indeed a very, very interesting background indeed. And I know that not only are you an entrepreneur, and I know you've written your own book, about to release another book, but you also have been involved in founding an entrepreneurship program. Let's talk a little bit about that.
We're just launching at the end of this month in October. We are launching the first cohort of the Global School of Entrepreneurship, which is a unique way to MBA, is the way I like to say it. Entrepreneurs often don't think they need an MBA or don't know what to do with one because basically, I don't think MBAs are suited for entrepreneurs in the way they're currently developed. The curriculum may be very valuable, but it's geared towards middle management. It's geared towards being a great employee in a company and a solid manager, and not geared towards the entrepreneur mentality or the entrepreneur schedule. So we've tried to solve for that so that we can have entrepreneurship, people following their passions, doing their business, developing new ideas, and not having to leave that to go to school for 2 years.
And I know you're following your passion each and every day. So going a little bit deeper into your background, and then I want to tease out some of the insights and advice that you might have for entrepreneurs that are tuning in. But I know you've picked up from that time, as you said, in government, in that world of protocol, running a Practical Protocol, a special events management organization for the last 31 years. And I found this fascinating, working as a franchisee with 10 Burger King restaurants for more than 20 years. So I really have to ask this question of what insights in entrepreneurship did you pick up through that experience?
That was a family business. I started that before I even went to Washington, D.C. So I learned to make hamburgers at a very rapid rate at about 14 years old. We cleaned the floors. We took money through the drive-through. We had to face the customer every day, which was not always fun or easy. And yet it was really great training. Just because my sisters and I were the boss's daughters, we didn't, weren't cut much of a slack. We had to show up on time and do the job. So I think it's really amazing training. And I'm kind of saddened that the fast food industry in general, is the quick service, as we call it these days, is maligned to a point that it doesn't seem to be a great starting place for young people, because I think it's absolutely an amazing starting point for people to get into the workforce.
Well, we can spend a lot more time on that topic. So you wrote a book called Civility Rules. I want to talk about that and some of the insights that you share. What is the message that you seek to convey?
I got started writing it many years ago because of my background in protocol and my love of relationship development. And I just saw our society breaking down, actually kind of long before it became a popular topic on television or in the radio. And finally, I decided to pull the trigger and actually finish the book. But what it told me through the journey of writing the book, it kind of changed a little bit, that the end game, I realized that our democracy needs civility. And the reason is because if there's only one voice in the room, then there's no democracy. And so we have to be able to talk to each other, not just to ourselves, and not just hear our own voice in our own echo chamber, as they say, but we need to be able to listen with an open heart and open mind and ask intelligent questions if we disagree with somebody, not just shut it down and walk away.
Yeah, I'm chatting with Shelby Scarbrough, the author of Civility Rules, and just all around fascinating entrepreneur. And Shelby, you mentioned the family business a moment ago, and I know that family has played a very big role in forming who you are and the entrepreneurial leader that you have become. Again, co-founding the Global School of Entrepreneurship. So I want to talk about your grandfather for a second. I know you are publishing your grandfather's official biography, Undaunted. So tell us a little bit about what our listeners can expect from Undaunted and why you decided to take on yet another project.
Well, my grandfather was a famous early aviator. He was a pioneer in aviation. And even Peter Diamandis, who's written a quote for the book, said that, this is what got him started with the X Prize and SpaceX. It was inspired by the early aviation pioneers, where companies put prizes out and incentives out there, an entrepreneurial venture rather than government funded, et cetera. So I really resonated with that. And I grew up listening to my grandfather tell his stories of all these harrowing experiences that he found himself in as an early aviation pioneer. He was the first to attempt a solo flight around the world, among many other firsts in flight, but his story is amazing. And his friend Wiley Post is actually the man who did become the first to fly solo around the world. But my grandfather's story, frankly, is much more interesting because of what he went through just to make it around the world.
I can't wait to pick up Undaunted. So again, chatting with Shelby Scarbrough. Shelby, with all of the hats that you have worn, you have been able to mentor so many folks, and I know that is why you're passionate about the program that you are developing. I think you said launching really over the next month. So great timing for this conversation. What's that one nugget that you want our listeners to know and hopefully implement in the week ahead? And I'm feeling that energy level coming back.
Well, having an abundance mindset has really helped me. The things, a little bit of, I feel like whatever success I've had or enjoyed, is part of it is attitude and part of it is aptitude. And attitude can get you a long way, and it fills in where aptitude may be lacking. I put myself in the room. My mother used to say, when I'd be frustrated with things, my mother would say, you put yourself in a room with people who are smarter than you. And I never really realized that, but it is something I'm drawn to, is I love to learn. So being a lifelong learner, open to the concepts of abundance and gratitude and all of those things that keep us moving forward, will open up so many doors and help us color outside the lines.
Wow, and that sounds like advice that both the entrepreneur starting up as well as the very established entrepreneur with many enterprises, perhaps like yourself, Shelby Scarbrough, can put into practice again in the week ahead. So Shelby, we've covered a lot, and I know that you have a lot going on, whether it's books, MBA programs, all sorts of things happening. How can people learn more about you and the exciting, abundant life of Shelby Scarbrough?
Thank you so much. They can go to my website at shelbyscarbrough.com or shelbyjoyscarbrough.com, because that's also my middle name and it's the name of my book, Joy Journey, the next book coming up after Undaunted. Or they can go to joyjourney.life, which is my brand new e-commerce site, which is all things joy. So there's lots of fun products there that people can bring joy into their life if they need just a little physical inspiration.
Absolutely. And I know we'll have a lot more to cover in our next conversation. But again, thank you so much for joining us on the air. We've been chatting with Shelby Scarbrough. And when we come back, we are going to continue our conversation all about small business jobs and entrepreneurship. Get on my website, shalomklein.com. Subscribe, rate, review, and share on this podcast. It makes it easier for people to find the show all about small business jobs and entrepreneurship. So don't touch that dial. We will be right back on Get Down to Business.